And apart from the costs, how do you differentiate from your competition?
I think the biggest factor, I always say this to people because I think what happens is when you're shopping for software, often you're looking at, okay, I'm looking for this feature that does this, right? I want a button that is red and it's in the top right corner, and when I press it, it shows me this, right? A lot of people are looking for something specific. And I say, these days you could pretty much build anything you want, right? And so it's really, 10 years ago, maybe you couldn't find some software that wasn't evolved enough that you were struggling with. But these days, everybody has the features. Like, I'm not going to lie, like, other competitors have work orders and preventative maintenance. Like they all have it. But there's some key differences. And for us, the key difference first is in how we support our users. So I think that, the ability for us to train them and to have unlimited customer support. They can call us anytime, talk to somebody, chat with us over a chat function, any of that. And we make sure that level of support, that's not available in every company. Sometimes it's only chat support. Sometimes they don't really care about their users. We have no long-term contracts. So our customers can cancel anytime if they want with just 30-day notice. So it really is important for us to focus on long-term relationships with our customers and make them successful. And I think that's a big differentiator. And it gets overlooked when people shop for software because they're focused on that button and instead of the people that support the software. So that's one definite differentiator. And I'd say another one would be just the fact that we're self-funded, like I mentioned. I think that allows us to make decisions that are motivated by servicing our customers and not necessarily by some investor who's just looking to say, okay, hey, can you up the price because I want to make some extra money here? We can focus on what our customers asks and we can do that. And we've always been that way. And I think that's a huge benefit.
When did you start the company?
When did we start it? So we started it in 2000 the product started in 2003, so almost 20 years ago. We had the idea originally and we started to build it, and it was the original. We have some key partners that founded the company together, including myself. And one of the founders was a developer, and so he got to work and built the first prototype. It wasn't called Maintenance Care back then; it was called something else. I think it was called My Super. So it wasn't the same. But we built this tool and formed the company 3 years later in 2006 when we saw that there was a product that we were ready to sell. And you have to think about in 2003, the landscape of the computer world wasn't what it is today. Nobody was doing software as a service, the monthly subscriptions. Nobody was doing that. It was a CD that you used to buy and they would install it and that's it, right? And so now with these memberships, we were one of the first. We were like, we're going to do this as a membership. I think there was another company doing it. You might know it, called Salesforce. They used to do memberships back then. And so they were kind of one of the first that started. And we were like, we like this model. Let's do it that way. And so we built our software from scratch to be a software as a service. And because of that, I think we were able to displace a lot of our competitors easily because they were charging, like $20,000, $30,000 just to install the disk, and so we were able to get through and just kind of displace them just by our virtue of our. It was hard to convince people at first, like, hey, you're going to rent it every month. They're like, no, I just want to pay one time and own it. And they're like, no, this is better. You'll see. And now, history has proven that it is better because you get updated software all the time, right? Like, and it's good with your browser. You don't need to have any all special tool. And if let's say you upgrade from Windows 98 to Windows NT or whatever it is you're upgrading to, your software will still work, and you're not having to buy new licensing. So it ends up being better for the consumer in the long run. So that's when we started, and we've seen a lot. That was before mobile devices were even around. So we had two-way pagers for our maintenance people. We used to communicate with two-way pagers with our software, but there was no iPod, or iPhone or iPad or anything. So you can imagine, how do we get the maintenance person to work remotely while they're going out fixing things, but still communicate with our software? So we were utilizing two-way pagers. But the moment there was the BlackBerries came out, and then as soon as the iPod Touch came out, that just blew up our business in such a great way because we were giving away iPods for every subscription. That's what we were doing at the time. It's like, you subscribe, here's an iPod, and people were, it was going crazy because every maintenance person wanted to have this device, eh? And so it was quite interesting of a time to see that transition.